It announces. Okay, now it's
Okay, great. Welcome everyone. This is SIG Instrumentation. We're past our usual finding the record button, starting the recording issues. Today is July 17th, and we have a few items on the agenda. So let's get started with them. Noreldin, I think you have the first one. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes, sure. Hi everyone. Uh, Last week I was with Damian and reviewed some of them. Uh, One of them is related to cube metrics, related to CPU displayed using CLI. The consideration to view when we use KTOP, KGet bod matrix, we need to see CPU in milli, not nano. So I make a PR related to that issue.
so. I haven't looked a lot into this, but this seems like the kubectl side of discussion is needed there because um, for this particular case, we are talking about the metrics API implementation in kubectl. So, I mean,
So is this SIG CLI?
ideally, I would say so because ideally, the implementation owners would decide what units they want to keep this in, or maybe they could even add that as a parameter.
Okay.
Sorry, I was late. This
Okay.
one, I don't think it's CLI though, because the unit is the same when you configure the HPA. So, like, if CLI
Yeah,
decide to go a different way, then like user users would have to do the conversion themselves, maybe.
yeah, I think so. This is the convention everywhere because this is what metric servo exposes it in, like nano cores and
Yes.
um, kilobytes. But um, if this was to change, then this might break things for implementations that don't want to move from this um, unit of measurement. So if kubectl wants to go a different path, then they could maybe provide a customization parameter. But yeah, that's something I think uh, 6CLI might have more idea on. Or do we think we could offer some customization at the very root level
Yeah, I
in
don't know
metric
why the
server itself?
author here said that normally we would use millicore. Is is
I
that
think
just based on?
that's their downstream application, most likely.
Okay.
That's just their downstream perspective. I think that's what we
I
is
think
referring to
we've
more.
always used nanocores
Yeah.
in metric server at the very least.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think
there
metric
was a
server
change 2
has,
years ago.
oh, it was changed.
I don't remember. That's what I'm checking. No, I don't think it was.
Okay, so what should be the next steps here?
Um, yeah, I haven't had the chance to look at it. I wanted Jayapriya to also, slash Pi to also look at it, but I don't think she had the time to check the work. But yeah, I wanted to verify if this would break anything. Like for sure, this sounds like this would reduce the precision that we
Yeah.
expose, at least in metric server.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, like my opinion would be like I would be kind of against this change because of that, but I haven't looked deeper into it.
Yeah, ideally, if we decide to go forward with this, this should be something that happens in kubectl only and doesn't affect all implementations of the
Yeah,
metrics API.
yeah, I think I kind of agree with that. If metric server is the source of it, and then if we are just directly changing the source for the units and the value, that could break a lot of clients.
Yeah.
Shifting this change to the client side. I guess maybe it's worth just reaching out back to this author of the issue and asking what is the motivation? Why do they want to even do this change?
Because usually, like the response that we will give for this kind of request is that the metrics API is not meant for like normal querying or even dashboards. It's only meant to check to check the values on how to configure your HPA. So you directly want to configure your HPA and your autoscaling pipeline with get pod metrics or like top pod, top nodes, and so on. And for anything different, there are metrics that you can use from kubelet to accurately know what was like a specific process, CPU usage, memory usage, and so on.
Right.
Yeah, I think if they are depending on kubectl, it's mostly like this is not being ingested anywhere, probably. Because if they want to process these metrics anywhere, then that in itself is a wrong pattern because these are not meant to be ingested in anything other than, autoscaling pipelines and such. So yeah, they should probably rely on the metrics themselves, the CADvisor ones, as obviously metrics server recommends. So probably we can just close this with that.
Okay, how do we help Norel then here then regarding this issue? It sounds like we need more clarification from the author.
Yeah, and I need to review the change or like someone else from metric server.
This is just an issue, I think.
I think there was a PR also, no?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there's a PR. Okay,
that's
okay.
lengthy.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Any recommendations for Norel then? I know that they're just starting out with their contributions, and I would like for them to keep going.
Yeah, I can try to have a look. Cannot promise much with the code trees and so on, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah. Let me also I will also find time to just go through the proposed change. And then we can sync on GitHub
Yeah.
via comments. Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And then you had this other thing also listed, I think. Did you also want to work on this issue?
I make a PR related to this issue, but I found another guy who that issue was assigned to it before me.
Okay.
I tried to reach to him,
Okay.
but he didn't reply to me, so I make a PR. After that, he make another PR related to that issue. So I don't know what should I do related to that issue.
Oh, I didn't even know that they changed. I will find time to review these, both of these PRs, and we can see like which one of these two are making the correct change, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, this has to come after there is another PR that's proposed for doing the same thing for API server, and it's kind of changing the common code that exists for statusz. I will link that in the PR. Let me provide more context in the comments, and maybe that will help. So this has to wait till that API server PR gets in.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah,
Thank
I will
you.
reply to the comments. Okay. Is that all, Norel then?
Yes, yes.
Great. Then we can move on. Is Rashmi here?
Yes, I am. Sorry, Zoom has been kicking me out and have been trying to
Why?
join back. I don't know. It's my network, I guess. I'm joining from my phone now. All's
Oh,
good. So,
okay.
yeah. So I can just provide like a brief summary and context about these two issues. We spoke about it in the last SIG meeting, but just waiting to get some reviews. So in our scenario, we are trying to take dependency on the config file. Ours is a managed add-on, and we provide this offering called Azure Managed Prometheus, and we ship kubestate metrics as a part of that. And we would like to provide customers a capability to override the default parameters we set at startup through the config file. And both of these issues are kind of related to the config file feature. So the first one is that so currently kubestate metrics, if the config file does not exist at startup, it just fails, it just exits. And in our scenario, we want to provide this as a config map to the customer that is mounted as a file on the container, and that provides the override. So this change is just this is an issue, and I made a PR as well. This is just to keep kubestate metrics running in case it doesn't exist at startup. So I just need a review for somebody to take a look at this. Any questions before I move on to the next issue?
Um, so I looked at the code and I don't see any reason why we cannot move forward with it. I think it's fine, but if we do move forward with this, I would expect to have a metric. So we have these meta metrics in KSM, which kind of indicate if something went wrong. And we have one for configurations as well. So ideally, I would like to kind of have something in the label and a positive, like a non-zero value there, just to indicate if something went wrong with the config file and such. If someone has set up alerting based on that. So
Okay, sounds good. So you just want me to add a metric that indicates the health of the config file if kubestate metrics is using it. Is that right?
yeah, but I think the manual has some questions there.
So this was mostly, I think the white spaces were showing up as this change. This existed before, and it was not a part of the PR. But if the change has to be implemented, I'm happy to do that. So I just wanted to hear back from him.
Oh, okay, so the behavior he's referring to here doesn't mean the one that's being overall, added to the but okay, that's fine.
Right. Yes, yes. So I think the changes in this PR are only having kubestate metrics running if config file does not exist. The others are just showing up because of the white space.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you could just add a comment about the expectation, then I'll be happy to make that change as well.
Yeah, sure. I'll assign myself and drop the calendar.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I think manual kind of said that prefer failing if there is a bad config supplied versus here we are saying that emit a metric. If that happens, maybe that needs clarification too.
Yeah, so the behavior today is that if it does not exist, it just
Fails
quits
to start.
saying
Yeah.
yes. And even if it is failing, so currently what happens is it just keeps waiting for the user to update the config so that it can reload.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not sure. Like whatever you guys think is the right behavior, I can change it to that. But that behavior existed before. So
Isn't it weird if the config file is like invalid and then we are still like running the thing and emitting metrics? I'm not sure, but sounds weird to me. But we can carry the discussion on in the comments also.
yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure why it was implemented that way. If there was a reason why we decided to wait, or do we want to just exit? I'm not sure. So
Yeah, just to wrap this up. So there's like two cases here where if the file is supplied and if the file isn't supplied. So if it isn't supplied, then we used to error, but now we could alert the user if they have that set up through metrics, of course. But if the file exists, then we have the question of unmarshalling it. and just doing this very nominal validation that we used to do, where it should be a valid YAML at the very least.
Yep.
So yeah, that should still be the behavior
Okay.
if a file is supplied, and
Got it.
it should also reload,
Okay.
just to not break expectations.
Okay. Sounds good.
But yeah, this is just the top of my mind. It could, I mean, I would have to collaborate with Manuel, so we'll see where this goes.
Okay.
I have one question here. If this feature is supported, so do we need to restart the cube state matrix agent? How will it work? For example, if we support a feature and someone mount a new config map, but it won't take effect because we don't restart the cube state matrix agent.
It does. So currently it
Yeah.
has a watcher.
Wow.
So yeah, so there is a watcher. So and it watches for create and update. And if we keep watching, so at startup, if we don't fail and if we continue to watch for that path, and if somebody updates it or creates there, then it restarts and it picks up the file. So this change is to just make it not error out and exit when the file is not present. So it just picks it up. That behavior already exists.
Coach. But another question that can we set the default config map? Why do we need to make it empty at the beginning?
Yeah. So in the AKS scenario, so it's a managed cluster, right? And we package all of these artifacts as managed add-ons. So if we make it managed, then the customers cannot override it. It gets reconciled. So that's the scenario for us. And we want to provide this as an option for the customer to create it once the managed Prometheus add-on is enabled. Meaning that the kubestate matrix is started with a set of CLI arguments, and we are providing a mechanism to override it. And if it's not there, and it shouldn't fail, and it can just pick it up. So if we were to create this as a part of the add-on, then the customer will not be able to override it because it gets reconciled because it's a managed offering.
Got you. So the use case will be that you will create the YAML file with this parameter, with the config parameter, or so when you create the cluster, manual cluster, what's the parameters for the kubestate matrix?
Right. Yeah. So when we create the kubestate metrics container, so we provide a couple parameters. So I think just one, the collectors, which is the resources that we are providing, like pods, nodes, and like whatever resources. So we are seeing issues where customers are seeing like high scale and high cardinality, and they are ingesting like a lot more metrics, and they don't need it all the time. So we just provide these collectors out of box because we provide this managed offering with dashboards, and we want them to have it when they enable it. But we want to provide an option for them to override this. And also the metric label and annotation allow list. And currently it's a CLI parameter, and they would need to do like a deployment across the board. It's an ARM template deployment for us. In Azure, it's like a deployment that you have to go through like the resource providers. Instead, this would be an easy way where they just apply a config map on the cluster, and kubestate metrics can pick it up.
Oh, got you. Thank you.
So this is with the expectation that the config file will eventually be created, but
May or may not.
okay. So
yeah.
the config file doesn't hold any parameters like which are mandatory for KSM to start. Is that so?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we are not expecting that to exist, but if they were to override it, then it should just pick it up whenever they provide it.
Okay. I think sounds okay to me, but we'll defer to Pranshu or Damien for the final review for this.
Okay, sounds
We'll
good.
try to get some time to review if it's
Okay.
not merged yet.
Thank you. Yep. Rashmi had a few other items too.
Yeah, just another issue on the PR that I created. So this is also related to the config file. So one of the behaviors that I saw was for some parameters that we provide using the CLI arguments, like for example, shards or something that is a string, and you override it with the config file. Those files not override or provide the same fields in the config file, they get overridden and kubestate metrics picks it up. But there are a couple fields of type slice of structs, and I see that whenever it's provided through CLI and then the config file provides it too, it doesn't override it, but it appends it. And this is a problem in scenarios where you have a CLI parameter. I create a config file and I provide some parameter. Then I delete it completely and provide a new parameter. Now the old one is still retained because it doesn't do a whole reload, and also it's inconsistent with the other parameters because some are getting overridden, some are
Yeah.
not. They're just getting appended. So this is just a fix for that.
Awesome finding. Thanks for the fix too.
Yeah, no problem.
Also, I think we have a test for that issue as well. Test.
Test? You mean in the PR?
Yeah.
Okay.
In this period. If we can add a test, I'm not sure
Yes,
how.
I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
add it. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
add it. Yeah, thanks. I'll add it.
Great. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, just the two. If I can get a review, I'm just waiting on this to release this feature out. So I know that the CubeState metrics releases take a while. So I'm
Yeah.
just hoping that if the PRs get merged, I can just create a patch on top of the existing release and take that too. So.
I have another related question.
Mhm.
So, because the KSM is managed by your platform, but the
Mhm.
configuration is managed by the customer,
Right.
do we have a scaling algorithm for the QST metric? For example, if they include more and more metrics, maybe the memory and CPU usage is not enough, so we need to scale up the or horizontal HPA or VPA. So how do you make sure it will scale out?
Yeah, so I had another issue for that. I think it was related to sharding. So we even looked into sharding for that because we wanted to implement sharding, but I'm not sure based on the documentation if it's like stable or if it's still at like in like preview. So ideally, we would want to have scaling where we provide the customers capability to increase the shards with config file too, and that's a parameter, right? So, but there are a couple problems with that where one is that the metrics are not being allocated to the replicas that are running. So in case a replica goes down, then the other one doesn't pick up all of it. So it's still doing 50% because it is static. So unless there's a way for the controller to kind of watch which replica is up and running and then assign, I think it would work well for us. But we are kind of um, not willing to take dependency because it doesn't provide for HA currently. But that's our goal, to provide scaling with KSM as well that provides for HA and also multiple shards.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I think we have one solution in the documentation about scaling.
Yeah.
Is that the
So
state? Sorry, go ahead.
You can scroll
no,
down
sorry.
to the scaling
Just
part.
yeah. So we use hash mods at the moment where it's
Yeah,
exactly
auto
what you
scaling.
said. Yeah. So if one replica goes down, it doesn't know that it went down, right? So that part of the metrics is gone, right? Until it comes back up.
Mhm.
But otherwise, sharding has been there for a long time. I would say it's stable. We haven't really, indicated it as a preview anywhere. Yeah, sorry, go
Mhm.
ahead.
Do we have the issue? I didn't notice that the issue that if one is down, others. You mean the sharding you are mentioning is about automatic
Yeah,
sharding.
yeah. So the way it works is it takes the modulus for based on a particular hash assigned to the metrics, the
Okay.
resource, and then whatever that remaining value is the number of replicas. So if you have six, then the limit is six. So it would rotate between 0 to 6, and it would assign every single metric to one of those, right? So as long as the metric is unchanged, then everyone would get a set of metrics, and nobody needs to know what set of metrics the other one got, right? You also have this hash mode thing in the farm as well. But yeah, so that's basically how it's very it's not very advanced. So I would say it doesn't have this um, election sort of thing happening where it would know and it would kind of select one to take over that missing part of metrics and share the load, so to speak. So if, for example, uh, if we divide it into 10, if there's 10 replicas and everyone has a tenth of the metrics, then if one goes down, then how does that 10% of load of metrics get divided between those 9 replicas? So that's something that we need to do. That's not there at the moment.
So there's no reconciliation of the replica count.
I think it has.
Yeah, so Kubernetes would definitely start, keep trying to get that replica back up, but until that replica is back up, everyone else would still behave as they did earlier.
So basically, there's no dynamic sharding happening. It's just static. So initially, when whatever replica count exists, it just tries to shard based
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So you
Sounds
can
good.
also see, because so this is the reason why it wants the user to tell it how many shards are there. So you see that this total shards argument there as well, because that's what it always assumes, and that's what it always does the modulus on every single time. So if anyone
Yeah, I
goes
think,
down, it doesn't know that it went down.
yeah, I
Until
think,
you go into until you go and restart every single KSM binary with that -1 number of
Updated.
shards.
Yeah.
And then it would start to do that thing. So we
That
just want to
sounds like
automate that.
we should have an issue for it.
yeah, I think this is not an issue because Steve said that we are manage all the pods. It's just temporary when one pod is down, another pod will be created immediately. Just 1 minute loss of data. It's okay.
But that like doesn't solve the problem of high availability, right? So if there are, and also there's this other problem where there should be as many number of kubestate metric deployment replicas with the shard configured exactly. So if there are 3 shards, it expects it to have 3 deployment instances with 0, 1, and 2. And for our case, where it's a managed offering, so we deploy these templates when we deploy the add on, and we need to ship these templates along with them with 0, 1, and 2. And we cannot have the customers create like 2 more if they want it. It's
Oh, I see.
static. And also, if something goes down for whatever reason, they're having scale issues and they want this monitoring, they lose like 2 other pods, then all the metrics until they come up is gone. So that like doesn't provide for high availability.
Right. Yeah, I think this is me. What do you think, Pranch? Is this worth creating an issue? Do you think we should
It is. I think the only reason it's not there yet is because
handle it?
we never had any push for it, I think.
Okay.
But this is something definitely, because once we have this, we would have HA out of the box. Okay, so we don't have HA out
Yeah.
of the box
Yeah.
like Alert Manager is, for example, with the gossiping protocol, because there's no concept of HA with static sharding because there is
Right.
no election whatsoever.
Right.
So yeah, it's
Okay.
something I mean, if Azure is interested in contributing, or if we could still, if we could just get an issue up for this, even that would still be something.
I think Rashmi,
Um,
did you mention that you created an issue for this?
Yeah, I created an issue for the current status of sharding functionality, and I can add that in there as well. I think I did, but no, I did not add these details, but I can add that in there. It's 2688. I'm on my phone and it's my,
Okay.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
the one.
found it.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, maybe we can just use this one and add more details to this.
Yeah, I will add the details. I'll add all of it so that you can use it for tracking.
Great. Thank you so much, Rashmi.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Okay. Did you get everything that you were looking for from these topics that you listed?
Yeah. If there's anything that I have to address, I think one is tests and the other one is metrics. So if I can get comments on that and
Yeah.
if I can get some reviews, I'll be happy to merge the code in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noted. Yeah. Thank you for bringing attention to those. And I
Thank-
think we're really out of time. So thank you everyone for joining. There were 2 other items on the agenda, but I guess we'll have to take them in the next meeting, unless those are like super urgent and you want to go through them quickly, Pranshu.
no, that's fine.
Okay.
I just wanted to, I'm already working on this. It's this mentoring thing that David shared.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for taking that up.
Yeah, no worries.
Great. Great, then we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thanks.